Alright, Ciaccona is finally out. Managed to put for her, build her, test her out with the numbers of teams that she's got access to at the current point, and I'm currently having a lot of fun with her, which is why we're going to be having a team build discussion video for Ciaccona to see her potential working with some of the characters that we have at the current point and what basically the future actually holds for her. Okay, so basically Ciaccona is a very simple character for you to play around. Pretty sure you guys have already know how she's played. Basically, the main thing about Ciaccona is that she has the ability to buff 24% arrow damage bonus for your team whenever she has a solo concert. Basically, that's something you're always going to have automatically, so you don't really have to worry about that. Her liberation is where it's interesting because she has access to arrow erosion applications or spectral frazzle application for your team, which is where she definitely works in either arrow teams or a character that runs well with spectral frazzle. And then other than that, she does help you to do pretty decent off-field damage, I would say. If you do have her build as more or less a DPS build that helps you deal damage, it does stack up over time and you will see quite a bit of a difference compared to Ciaccona or in competition with some of the previous support character that can be on the team. Which is where let's touch on the teams that Ciaccona generally works in. Obviously, we know that most of the time it's going to be on an arrow team, so arrow characters such as Yiyan, right? If you're using auto, Yang, technically speaking, they will still work, but most of the time it's going to be Yiyan. And the team you're going to be running is going to be Yiyan, Ciaccona, and I would say Arrow Rover. From my testing, this specific team actually do pretty well when it comes to TOA. Obviously, Arrow Rover whole potential isn't shining in this specific team since, while it's not too much of a team that actually uses arrow erosion too much, more than that, Arrow Rover themselves don't really have access to too much of a damage output. So generally, if you have Shorekeeper or Verena, I would still say they are a very good character that can support Yiyan technically better than Arrow Rover on this team. But while if you do have Arrow Rover build, I've tested out, was able to clear some of the final flaws of TOA with this specific team, so I would say it was generally great. I did test this team against the 1.0 version team of Yiyan, which is Morphe and Verena, and generally this team actually do quite a lot better compared to the 1.0 version. Now, one thing was that my Morphe wasn't generally fully built compared to Ciaccona, but overall Ciaccona off-field damage output is actually pretty nice. Now, we do see quite a difference from that. But while obviously since Ciaccona kit applies a lot of arrow erosion and Yiyan doesn't really use it too much, arrow team for Ciaccona isn't at its maximum potential at the current point. Other than that, since she does have spectral frazzle applied, Absolution Phoebe is going to be loving Ciaccona as well. We test her running alongside with Spectral Rover and the team actually do quite great, better than my expectation, because while this Phoebe team can also do pretty well in the final flaws of the TOA. And generally, since Ciaccona and Spectral Rover does apply quite a lot of Spectral Frazzle, Phoebe definitely gets a lot of boost coming from that. So overall, that's really nice. Now, Shorekeeper and Verena can also work on this team, but while since Spectral Rover actually works really nice, you can save either Verena and Shorekeeper for your other team. The only thing is that Spectral Rover isn't somebody that can heal, so unless you take out the enemies before they actually do kill you, yeah, either Verena and Shorekeeper is definitely going to help you out in that front. And obviously, other than that, we've got our lovely Zani, who I'm pretty sure many of you have been expecting Ciaccona to see whether or not she was actually pretty decent with Zani. And honestly speaking, I just have to say she performs a lot better than I expected. Now, of course, Ciaccona isn't going to be charging Zani as fast as Phoebe would. However, does she reliably charge Zani? I'd say absolutely yes, to the point that is pretty much enough. And obviously, if you run the team alongside with Spectral Rover, that's a lot more comfortable for Zani to max out her gauge and then do a lot of liberation damage that way. So of course, if you do have Phoebe, then obviously Phoebe is still a lot better than Ciaccona being on a Zani team, because Phoebe herself does quite a lot of damage. But while if you don't have Phoebe, then Ciaccona is an amazing character in Zani team. And considering that Ciaccona values actually varies toward arrow team as well, her overall supportive value toward the account actually is going to be slightly better than Phoebe being pretty much a spectral DPS character that also has the ability to focus on spectral frazzle team. So obviously it's going to be coming down to your choice, but Ciaccona, as I've mentioned before, her value is still not being used to the maximum potential because we don't have an exactly arrow erosion damaging team to make full use of Ciaccona, which is why, as we have predicted, that Fleur-de-Lis or Catathea is going to be the character that makes full use of Ciaccona, and she's going to become a very valuable on that future team. Obviously, we have to wait until more live stream information on Fleur-de-Lis, but at the current point, her values will definitely vary between account depending on whether you like her or not, or whether you're going to be playing a lot in an arrow erosion team later on. Though if it does come to Fleur-de-Lis, I'd just say that's probably going to be more important for you guys to save up for Fleur-de-Lis first, because many of you would also like her weapon, then wait for Ciaccona to have a rerun, then pull for Ciaccona, then would actually make sense for many of the free-to-play account. As well, Fleur-de-Lis is most likely going to be coming right after Ciaccona, and yeah, they would probably require you quite a lot of pulls. So I think that's what I have to say regarding some of the team comps that Ciaccona has at the current point. I hope that the video have been valuable to you. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to not miss out on my future Wuthering Wave videos. With that, I wish you a super day, and I'll catch you on my next video.